Right now, dry conditions here across Utah, but winter alerts have been issued. Coming up, what you can expect for our next storm with the timing and how much snow you can expect.
There's nothing that can ever prepare you for a car that's barreling at you at 70 miles an hour.
Ahead of our next winter storm, first responders want you to know the importance of moving over to give them room to work safely on our roads.
As Russia's attack on Ukraine becomes more intense, Utahns are finding new ways to help.
You're dealing with 4 or 5 times as many kids as adults are coming over.
Meet the team leaving for Europe tomorrow and what you can do to make a difference.
A Utah County Sheriff's deputy is facing charges tonight, nearly 1 year after a deadly car accident that took the life of a BYU student.
They gave him a place of home and a place of refuge and a safe place.
And see how Utah students and teachers at a Utah junior high school surprised their classmate, all to make him feel more at home.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
We got plenty of snow over the weekend, and while it's calm now, more snow is on the horizon in the forecast.
Fox 13 News does have team coverage for you tonight. Brian Schnee breaks down what you need to know if you do get in a crash in bad road conditions.
But let's start with Utah's Weather Authority, Allison Krogan, with the latest timing of our next storm. Allison.
Yes, so we'll start seeing some impacts tomorrow morning, mainly near the Idaho border. But here's what you need to know. We have winter storm warnings issued for the Wasatch Mountains north and south of I-80, for the Wasatch Front, Wasatch Back, and for the mountains of central Utah. Winter weather advisories have been issued tonight. As you just heard, calm conditions here across the state. We'll have a somewhat cool start to your morning tomorrow as you wake up here along the Wasatch Front, mid-20s at 5 a.m. By 7 a.m. 26, and by 9 o'clock in the morning we are back into the 30s. We will continue with a lot of clouds tomorrow throughout the day and an increasing chance for snow as we go throughout your Tuesday. Highs tomorrow right around 40 degrees here in Salt Lake. Let's talk about the timing of the system. Tuesday afternoon here along the Wasatch Front, light snow arrives. It will arrive tomorrow near the Idaho border first thing tomorrow morning. So we could have a dusting up near the Idaho border. And we're going to end up with that snow peaking in intensity Tuesday night through Wednesday morning. 2 to 6 inches of snow here in the valleys, more on the benches. And we're going to see more up in the mountains. Of the timing of this storm, our next storm in the forecast, and also how cold our temperatures will drop this week as well, all coming up.
There's nothing that can ever prepare you for a car that's barreling at you at 70 miles an hour, slamming into the vehicle of people that you're trying to help.
A chain reaction crash injuring multiple people on I-15 in Pleasant Grove over the weekend. First responders say it was a combination of downright dangerous driving behavior and bad conditions. They say drivers were speeding and not moving over while the accident was being tended to.
And as another winter storm approaches, Fox 13 News reporter Brian Schnee spoke with firefighters, also UHP troopers, about Utah's move over law and why it is so important to be vigilant when driving conditions aren't ideal. Hi, Brian.
Good evening, Bob and Kelly. We saw this weekend during the recent storm that a single vehicle accident can turn into a multi-vehicle crash in a really tough situation in a matter of minutes. Now, today we rode along with Utah Highway Patrol to not just witness firsthand the dangers of working along our roads, but to share the importance of following the law and moving over.
When one person starts moving over, it encourages almost everyone else to move over.
While tagging along with Utah Highway Patrol on I-15 in Utah County, troopers were stopping vehicles failing to obey the state's move-over law.
So, you're required to move over and slow down prior to passing any emergency vehicle.
It's a stark reminder for troopers.
3 cars, 1 family, 3 crashes.
Who just days ago tended to a multi-vehicle crash during winter driving conditions that first responders say was entirely preventable.
The only thing I could think of, throughout that whole process is, are my guys okay?
Pleasant Grove Fire Department Captain Kyle Hardy responded to this incident on I-15 during the storm.
It was more of a chain reaction of events that happened that put several lives at danger and could have killed any one of us.
Hardy says it was a combination of people driving too fast for the conditions and not moving over that nearly took out his fellow firefighters.
There's nothing that can ever prepare you for a car that's barreling at you at 70 miles an hour. slamming into the vehicle of people that you're trying to help.
Salt Lake 330, 1023, taking the right lane only.
Monday night, we experienced the dangers of working along the interstate as first responders tended to a crash in Spanish Fork.
And we see it a lot. Drivers, here's one as we go past right now. He's got his phone out. He's using his phone while he's driving and not paying attention to what's going on in the front of him.
Whether driving conditions are perfect on a clear day or if it's tense during a winter storm, Utah's Move Over law is designed for drivers to give first responders the appropriate room to keep them safe while working to save others.
Please move over for us. It's incredibly dangerous. We all have families we want to go home to each night.
We're told that the people involved in that chain reaction crash that did receive some injuries are doing okay tonight. It really is important to emphasize that slowing down and moving over for emergency responders, taking care of an incident on our roads, it's not a suggestion, it's the law. Live in Murray tonight, Brian Schnee, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Brian, thank you. With this latest storm and the fresh blanket of snow, there are dangers hiding just below the surface. We spoke with the Utah Avalanche Center tonight about the snowpack, and they say the new snow on top of the settled snowpack can create the perfect conditions for an avalanche. They also say the upcoming storms could make the avalanche danger even worse.
We've got a snowpack that is teetering on the edge. Recent snowfall has brought weak layers back to life, and we expect a very robust storm.
Gordon says the best thing you can do is keep up with Utah's Avalanche Center forecasts. We have a link to those on our website, fox13now.com. And of course, you can find the latest forecasts on the Fox 13 weather app and on your smart TV. Just search Fox 13 on your device.
No one in Europe expected to see this happening again after what happened in World War II.
At this hour, Russia has now completely moved all of its staged combat power into Ukraine, and the Russian military is increasing bombardments on major Ukrainian cities. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations says it is clear Russian President Vladimir Putin does have a plan to destroy and terrorize Ukraine. Despite persistent attacks by Russian forces, the Pentagon says they believe Russia has not made the progress it thought it would in taking over Ukraine.
They are having morale problems. They are having supply problems. They are having fuel problems. They are having food problems. They are meeting a very stiff and determined Ukrainian resistance.
The Pentagon believes Russian forces are now seeking to recruit foreign fighters, including Syrians, to aid in their deadly invasion.
As Ukrainian civilians flee those invading forces, Utahns feel like they cannot stand by and just watch. A local organization is getting ready to head to Eastern Europe to make a difference.
Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser is live at Salt Lake International Airport right now with how they plan to help. Emily.
Bob Kelly, a small team with the local nonprofit August Mission will be here starting tomorrow to fly to Warsaw, Poland to help the million refugees fleeing Ukraine and seeking shelter in Poland. Nick Fowler is tired of standing by. He's ready to get on the ground and help.
Our organization really wants to focus around helping people.
Fowler will hop aboard a flight with other members of the nonprofit organization August Mission to send help to Ukrainian refugee camps in Poland.
We don't want to just throw more resources at the problem. Our teams want to really identify what are the specific needs of the people on the ground and then try to resource and fill those needs.
August Mission is dedicated to helping refugees and displaced people find recovery and resettlement. From sleeping bags to tents and pots and pans, survival gear and medicine is crucial at these camps. Families are fighting freezing temperatures right now while most men stay behind to fight.
If you can imagine at the border, you're dealing with 4 or 5 times as many kids as adults are coming over.
Fowler believes this is just the beginning. He hopes to join forces with other on-site organizations to assess the needs and take it from there.
I think as this conflict continues on, we're going to see more and more refugees at the border, and that presents its own problems. And
All supplies heading to Europe are provided by the outdoor gear company Teton Sports.
Our founder believes that relationships are being fractured over there in the Ukraine area now, and he wants to help, and we do too.
The store is also taking its support a step further, pledging to match up to $40,000 of the money raised by August Mission.
$80,000 will make a big difference in the lives of people that really need it right now.
there is a huge opportunity for smaller organizations to plug in and kind of fill the needs that these larger organizations, they're potentially not as mobile, and so we have a lot of options.
If you want to help their efforts, you can donate on their website. That's augustmission.org. Reporting live at Salt Lake City International Airport, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Emily, good work there. Thanks. Fox 13 News will continue to cover the very latest developments in Ukraine. We'll bring you updates both on air and online at fox13now.com.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to make things work.
You're going to see it go up much more in the next few weeks.
Coming up after the break, sticker shock at the gas pump. How much some prices jumped today in just a few hours.
Cold and dry here across Utah today, but another storm is on the way. What you could expect.
He's accused of killing 2 Utah teens and dumping their bodies in a mine.
It's been a long time waiting.
4 years later, what it means for the families of the victims to finally have a trial.
In a possible first-round NBA playoff matchup, the Utah Jazz wrap up their 5-game road trip against the Dallas Mavericks. I'll have the highlights.
New at 9, a Utah County Sheriff's deputy is now facing a manslaughter charge for his alleged role in a car crash that killed a BYU student in Provo last year.
Last March, 52-year-old Joseph Richardson was off duty when he was responding to a standoff involving an armed man in Pleasant Grove. Richardson crashed his truck into a car pulling out of a Taco Bell at 300 North, 900 East in Provo. 22-year-old Joseph Spencer was in that other car. He died at the scene. This afternoon, the Summit County Sheriff's Office filed the manslaughter charge against Richardson. Summit County is overseeing this case to avoid a possible conflict of interest.
Utah County Sheriff Mike Smith says he is not able to say much about this matter because of a pending lawsuit. He did say in a statement that Richardson, who has been with his office for 17 years, has been on leave since the accident happened last year. He went on to say, quote, "This incident is a tragedy for all involved. Our hearts are broken for the loss and pain this accident has caused." Utah's COVID-19 case count continues its steep decline. 543 more Utahns tested positive over the past 3 days. Hospitalizations have dropped as well, with 261 COVID patients in Utah hospitals right now tonight. 9 more Utahns have died from the virus, including a young man between the ages of 18 and 24. The worldwide death toll from COVID-19 passed 6 million today.
A little more than 6,100 Utahns got a COVID vaccine over the weekend. About half of those, close to 2,900, were booster shots. In another sign the nation is returning to normal, New York City has lifted its vaccine mandate at restaurants and entertainment venues. It's a major turning point for the Big Apple after 2 years of the pandemic. Restaurant owners say they are looking forward to an increase in customers as the summer approaches.
I think it's really important to be in the reality and to be open when we need to be open. And if we ever need to, institute any of these procedures, we know what to do and we'll do it.
New York City also lifted its mask requirement at all public schools today. The changes come as the city averages a little less than 680 new coronavirus cases and 25 deaths each day. That is down from nearly 41,000 new cases and nearly 130 deaths per day at the height of the Omicron surge in January.
Back here at home, people in Utah are experiencing sticker shock at the gas pump. Really, this is happening all over the nation. In fact, today in some places, the price for a gallon of regular unleaded jumped 20 cents in just a matter of hours. The national average is now over $4 a gallon, and Utah appears to be heading in the same direction.
There is no end in sight. I'm actually in the fuel business. Really? Yes, and there is no end in sight. No, you're going to see it go up much more in the next few weeks, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to make things work. We actually had somebody come steal gas out of one of our trucks over the weekend too. So again, apparently it's expensive enough to start stealing it from vehicles that are parked.
Yeah, this is really tough. Experts say in order to squeeze every last mile out of your fill up, make sure your car is tuned up and that your tires are inflated properly. Also, remove heavy items from your vehicle and cargo carriers or really anything else that might unnecessarily weigh down your car.
We have breaking news in West Valley City at this hour. Firefighting crews are responding to a structure fire near 1450 West, 3300 South. The Fox 13 News crews are on their way, and we will update you as we get more information right here on the air and online at fox13now.com.
Bob, right now, power outages are still lingering after this weekend's big snowstorm. A damaged line has left more than 2,000 Rocky Mountain Power customers in Morgan and Mountain Green still in the dark tonight. Crews do expect to have the power back on by 11:30 tonight, a couple hours away. However, of course, that could change depending on the crew's progress.
And right now, our temperature is up in Mountain Green and in Morgan, currently 32 degrees, so it is freezing there. Overnight temps will be about 10 degrees for both areas, so it'll be a very cold night. Make sure that you are staying safe. We had a beautiful sunset, Heber Valley sunset tonight. This is Deer Creek from Brent Haddock. Thank you so much for posting this picture in our Facebook group. Just a stunning view out across our state tonight, and temperatures here in Salt Lake City currently 30 degrees. Here's what I want you to know. We've got another storm arriving tomorrow. We do have winter alerts that have been issued. Let's go ahead and talk about those details. So light snow starts tomorrow. Our heaviest snow will be Tuesday night through Wednesday morning, so we could very well be in for a rough commute on Wednesday morning. And then we have some very cold temperatures to follow as we head into Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and then Thursday night and Friday morning. We'll have clearing behind the storm, and we're going to end up with some very frigid temperatures. So satellite and radar right now here across the state, a few flurries. That's all we've really seen today here across Utah. A little bit of a breeze across the south out of the north, so it's a chilly breeze currently. And then we do have winter storm warnings issued for the mountains. That's this area of pink that you're seeing. That's going to start tomorrow around lunchtime. But for the Salt Lake Valley, we have a winter weather advisory, and ours will be starting at 11 o'clock tomorrow night, so in about 24 hours. Now, the further north will have the winter weather advisories up towards Ogden. That'll be starting at 5 o'clock tomorrow, but mainly speaking, valleys 2 to 6 inches of snow, benches 5 to 8, some locally higher amounts are possible, and winter driving conditions are expected in the valleys and especially up in the mountains. So Salt Lake City tonight, it'll be about 25 degrees when you first wake up. We'll have clouds early, and then we'll have a little bit of clearing first thing tomorrow morning. By 6 o'clock tomorrow, it'll be about 20 degrees for Provo and Eagle Mountain, closer to 25 to 30 for Tooele, Salt Lake, and for Ogden. So first thing tomorrow, we'll have that snow moving in near the Idaho border early in the day. And then after lunchtime here in Salt Lake, we're going to have a chance for a few snow showers to start developing, and those storm chances will start increasing throughout the day tomorrow. Those snow chances will be increasing. So we look at 4 o'clock tomorrow, it'll be about 35 to 40 for Provo, Tooele, Salt Lake, and Ogden. Logan tomorrow, 32 degrees. Logan Canyon is going to be treacherous the next few days. If you can avoid it, I would highly recommend, especially tomorrow night into early Wednesday. So our chance for precipitation here in Salt Lake City will be highest Tuesday night and Wednesday day. Then we'll see a little bit of a break, and then we could see a few more isolated chances heading into Sunday and Sunday night. For St. George, close to 60 degrees Tuesday, Wednesday, much cooler by Thursday at 45, and then close to 70 this weekend. Here in Salt Lake, we have a very cold rest of the week, highs in the 20s and 30s, overnight temps in the teens, close to 10 degrees by Thursday night. Let's talk more about snow totals and our next potential storm coming up later in the hour.
All right, Allison, thank you. Still ahead, more international flights are returning to Salt Lake City. We'll show you the new nonstop routes announced today.
And why the Supreme Court will not be hearing Bill Cosby's sexual assault case after he was freed from prison last year.
In national news, one person is dead and 2 others critically injured in a shooting at a high school in Iowa. It happened this afternoon in Des Moines on school property, but outside the school building. Police say the shots appear to have come from a passing vehicle. A 15-year-old male died and 2 females, ages 16 and 18, were critically wounded.
Unfortunately, what happened here today is just another pointless tragedy in our community. People using firearms to settle their differences.
Police are investigating, of course. They have 3 potential suspects in custody, but have not said whether any of the people involved are students at the school.
At least 7 people died when tornadoes ripped through central Iowa over the weekend. 4 of those victims were members of the same family. At least 52 homes were either severely damaged or completely destroyed. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds has declared a disaster proclamation for the area. The U.S. Supreme Court has rejected a bid to reopen Bill Cosby's sexual assault prosecution. Today, the court left in place an opinion by Pennsylvania's highest court that overturned Cosby's sexual assault conviction. Cosby was convicted in 2018 of drugging and sexually assaulting a woman in his home in 2004 and was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. He was released from prison in June of last year after the state Supreme Court overturned his conviction, ruling his due process rights were violated.
A jury trial finally begins over 4 years after a young couple is violently murdered. We'll hear from the victims' families.
They were both face down, and it was just a horrific sight.
She was gone.
A Lehigh family tells me they're heartbroken after their 15-year-old relative was hit and killed by a car while simply waiting to cross the street here on Friday. I'll have their story coming up.
Coming up, we'll hear from BYU quarterback Jaron Hall and the experienced Cougars, plus the Jazz and Mavericks.
He is accused of brutally murdering Riley Powell and Breezy Otteson and dumping their bodies down an abandoned mine 4 years ago. Today, his trial got underway in Provo.
Fox 13 News reporter Eliana Sheriff went to day 1 of the Jared Baum trial and spoke with Breezy and Riley's families.
So it's unreal that we're here today. It's been a long time waiting.
The families of 18-year-old Riley Powell and 17-year-old Breezy Otteson were brought together 4 years ago through the unimaginable. 46-year-old Jared Baum is charged with killing the couple in December of 2017. After a lengthy search for the missing pair, their bodies were found inside the Tintic mine near Eureka in March of 2018.
We're grateful we're here. Hopefully patience. Good things come to those who wait, because we waited.
The first witness to speak in today's hearing was Morgan Henderson, the girlfriend of Jared Baum, who gave up information leading police to the bodies about 3 months after they were killed. Morgan testified about the night Breezy and Riley were killed, saying after she invited the pair over for a bit to smoke some weed while Jared wasn't home, after they left, Jared came home and then led her outside.
He went to the back of the car of the Jeep, and I could see that Riley and Breezy were tied up.
Court documents say Baum had warned her about having male friends and had threatened her to help him hide evidence. The families of the victims say there will never truly be justice in this case.
Justice for Breezy and for Riley. I don't know that there's really true justice without having both of them back, but hopefully there's a guilty verdict and we can move on to the next chapter of healing. And
Baum is facing several charges, including 2 counts of aggravated murder and 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping.
I wish the death penalty was still on the table. You know, anybody deserves it to be the person who committed this crime.
Originally, the Utah County Attorney said he planned to seek the death penalty, but then changed his mind. The families say they still get together on special occasions to remember the young pair, and they will continue to stand together through this trial.
We have 2 families now that's come together, so now we have a bigger family, which is pretty awesome.
our families mesh together and continue to just honor both of them.
And this jury trial is expected to last a few months. Of course, we'll keep you updated as it progresses. In Provo, Eliana Sheriff, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The family of a 15-year-old girl grieving tonight after she died of injuries sustained when she and her brother were hit by a car in Lehigh on Friday.
Fox 13 News reporter Chris Arnold sat down with the family today, who is heartbroken over what they say was a freak accident.
She was always making jokes.
Raquel Vassbinder has fond memories of her 15-year-old sister, Areli.
She was just super funny. She was super loving. She literally made our house so light.
Areli came from Fresno, California to live with her older sister and her husband Ethan 7 months ago. It was Friday afternoon around 4:30 when they say Areli and her 13-year-old brother Kevin walked to this intersection at 2100 North and 3600 West in Lehigh.
They were at the intersection just standing there waiting for the light to turn green so they could go to Maverick simply to spend $3 to buy candy and a soda.
While standing there, a car driving through the intersection veered off the road and hit them both. Ethan says he was in his car near the intersection just minutes later.
And it flashed in my head that, holy crap, like Kevin and Areli, they had just left to go to Maverick.
Ethan's worst fears were realized when he drove forward and pulled off to the side of the road.
And there was Kevin laying about, 30 to 50 feet from where they were standing on the sidewalk. And Areli was even, 25, 30 feet away from him. They were both face down, and it was just a horrific sight to see.
Areli was flown to Children's Primary Hospital by helicopter.
And within us getting there in 45 minutes of her going into surgery, because the surgery was supposed to last 2 to 3 hours, she was gone.
Areli was a sophomore at Skyridge High School and had just gotten her driver's permit recently. It's that bright future that her older sister says she's going to miss the most.
She was 15 years old. She still had to graduate high school. She had plans to go to college. It's the future that we're going to have without her. What I miss.
The family tells me they plan to have Areli transported back to her hometown of Fresno to be buried there. They have set up a GoFundMe to cover those expenses. We have a link posted to that on our website, fox13now.com. In Lehigh, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson has endorsed Evan McMullin for Senate. McMullin is running as an independent against Republican incumbent Senator Mike Lee. Wilson urged her Democratic Party to not run a candidate in this race and throw support behind McMullin. Wilson says, quote, "For the first time ever, I will be voting for an independent instead of a Democrat to serve us in Congress. In an era of extreme partisanship, I'm excited to see where a senator who places Utah before party can take us as a state and perhaps lead to more independent voices serving our nation in the future."
She became Vineyard's first female mayor, and now Julie Fulmer is going to run for Congress. But she's not running in the 3rd District where Vineyard is located. She's running in Utah's 1st congressional district against incumbent Blake Moore. The Constitution doesn't require you to live in the district you represent. And Fulmer says she has worked with many leaders in northern Utah's District 1, including Ogden Mayor Mike Caldwell. Of course, Fulmer's first challenge will be trying to beat Congressman Moore in the Republican primary in late June.
The Davis County Sheriff's Office has a new tool that will help them out in a big way, and it came from someone you may recognize. Take a look. The Diesel brothers. Yeah, there they are. They donated a side-by-side to the Sheriff's Office search and rescue team. The Sheriff's Office says they're looking forward to putting this UTV to good use.
More international flights are returning to Salt Lake International Airport. The airport announced that nonstop service to Paris, France aboard Delta resumed today. Flights will be going to Charles de Gaulle Airport at the French capital. Starting in June, nonstop flights to London will come back, and Air Canada will begin nonstop flights to Toronto.
Well, coming up, the artists for this year's Twilight concert series have been announced. We'll tell you who's playing in Salt Lake City this summer.
And they play an all-important role in life and an ever-growing important role in politics, where you can learn to go, or where you can go to learn more about the contributions and accomplishments of female politicians in Utah history.
And coming up, I'm tracking our next storm as it moves in from the north. What you can expect for your commutes tomorrow, which one will be the worst over the next few days, and how much snow you can expect.
It's time to start getting excited for summer concerts. Salt Lake City is talking. Calm down, Kelly. Salt Lake City's Twilight Concert Series announced its lineup today. The headliners include Kelly's favorite, Rainbow Kitten Surprise, Angel Olsen, The Decemberists, Kuko, and Shaky Graves.
That's your favorite.
My personal favorite. Organizers say more supporting artists are yet to be announced. The 5 concerts will be at the Gallivan Center in July, August, and September.
It's really the home of the series, and we wanted to be able to kind of have that experience for concert goers in the heart of the city. We're very happy to be back there, and they're incredible partners for us.
Season tickets are on sale now, and $10 individual concert tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m.
You know, those concerts are always a good
They're
time.
always
Such a great
good.
atmosphere outside in those
So fun.
hot summer
So
nights.
fun, yep.
Looking forward to it. Well, this is really neat. A program in a local jail is using music to help inmates find a new passion to help their rehabilitation. Take a look at this. Sounds pretty good. This is all part of a program that lets inmates use more than 20 hours a week of what they call productive time credit to practice and write their own music. Volunteers teach the classes that anyone can sign up for, and the lessons range from music theory and history to beginner and expert instrument classes. The groups participating are even given the chance to hold concerts in the jail.
I get rewarded a lot by just thinking that a lot of these guys can go home and play music for their family and friends, and maybe teach their neighbors or kids how to play music, and something they didn't know before they came in.
Yeah, you never know. Budding music career, perhaps.
Yeah.
The jail deputy we talked to says the program is great for them as well, since it helps the inmates relax. They say having something in common, like music to relate to, can help both the inmates and the deputy see each other as human beings and can break down barriers between them.
Still ahead, see how students and teachers are helping a young Roy boy feel more welcomed at school. It's a Positively Utah story you don't want to miss.
Well, coming up in sports, 15th ranked BYU women's basketball team moved a step closer to a WCC championship. And the Jazz had a big matchup against the Mavericks and Luka Doncic. The highlights are on the way.
Welcome back, everyone. Right now, March is Women's History Month. And when it comes to politics and government, so many Utah women have really played a very important role. Rebecca Clark is the historical director for Better Days. It's a place where young boys and girls can go to learn about early Utah trailblazers like frontier doctor, women's suffrage advocate, and first female state senator in the entire nation, Martha Hughes Cannon from Utah.
We have loved sharing these stories with students. Young girls and young boys have really been so inspired, and we've seen the changes. They realize the influence that women have had throughout the state's history.
A statue of Martha Hughes Cannon will soon be unveiled in the nation's capital. The statue is right there. That will one day soon be in Washington, D.C.
Right.
In 2018, the Utah legislature chose to have her statue replace that of television inventor Philo T. Farnsworth in Statuary Hall.
Now to a story that is positively Utah. Some Roy Junior High School students worked with teachers and aides to create a special welcome message for a new student. Merrick Kinser, who was born with a rare genetic disorder, is in his first year at the school. He often uses a one-on-one room when he becomes overstimulated by a classroom full of his classmates. Now, to help Merrick adapt to his new school, teacher Rebecca Hawley, along with school aides and students, surprised Merrick by painting his one-on-one room with his very favorite elephants and a banner with his name. Merrick's family calls him their baby Dumbo.
They added his name to it, which is silly and it's simple, but it gave him a place of home and a place of refuge and a safe place for him to play and to be accepted and to be himself.
Yeah, as you can see, Karina is Merrick's mother. She says that she hopes to one day meet the children who helped decorate his room and thank them personally and properly. Since seeing the surprise artwork, Karina adds that Merrick hasn't stopped talking about his Dumbos. Isn't that great?
Such a great story. Thanks so much for that. We do have some more snow on the way, so I've got a pretty busy weather story to tell you about as well. Cold front is off to our north. That's going to drop in heading into tomorrow afternoon. But first, tonight, sunset, absolutely stunning. Sherry always posts these great pictures in our Facebook group, Utah's Weather Authority. If you haven't joined yet, we would love to have you because we're going to have some more active weather heading into tomorrow. Here's what you need to know hour by hour. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll start with some areas of snow near the Idaho border. It'll be about 20 to 25 degrees here for many of you when you first wake up. Clouds north of I-70 for the most part. We head into 4 o'clock tomorrow and the snow continues to move south. So we do have winter storm warnings for the mountains, the winter weather advisories for the Wasatch Front. By 4 o'clock tomorrow, we're about 40 degrees. So forecast snow totals. I wanted to pause this in a couple different places, starting with 3 o'clock tomorrow. By 3 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to have some light snow up above about the northern third of the state along the mountains and for our higher valleys. Then by tomorrow night, heading into Wednesday afternoon, that's when the rest of the snow is going to fill in. So for the northern valleys from tomorrow through Wednesday afternoon, we're mainly looking at 2 to 8 inches of snow for the valleys. Those higher mounts will likely be in the benches. For the northern mountains, 10 to 18 inches of snow, and for the central mountains, 4 to 9 inches of snow. So our heaviest snow totals will be for the Wasatch Mountains north and south of I-80. For St. George, you're close to 60 degrees Tuesday and Wednesday. By Thursday, 46. A lot colder heading into Thursday, Friday, warming back up close to 70 degrees this weekend. For the Wasatch Front in your Super 7-day forecast tomorrow, a high of 39 degrees here in Salt Lake. Snow becomes more likely during the second half of the day. Heading into Wednesday afternoon, we'll still continue with some snow here across the region, but the more widespread snow by Wednesday at 11 p.m. will be off into Colorado. Now by Thursday, it'll be 28 here in Salt Lake City, but out of this storm system, just to recap what we just went over, northern mountains 10 to 18 inches of snow, valleys mainly 2 to 8 inches of snow, and for the central mountains 4 to 9 inches of snow. For Thursday, 28 degrees for a high here in Salt Lake, so we're going to have some very cold temperatures. Thursday night close to 10 degrees, so we'll have a very chilly end to the week, and then our worst commute will likely be Wednesday morning and then Wednesday afternoon. By Friday, 37 degrees for a high here in Salt Lake with sunshine, so we'll have some nice afternoons above ahead this weekend. But we look into Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon, we are widespread to likely for precipitation here in Salt Lake City. Then that really settles down. By Saturday and Sunday, we're going to see those temperatures back close to 50 degrees, so we'll have some pleasant temperatures for you. 48 degrees for a high here in Salt Lake City on Saturday. It'll be a really nice day, a cool start, but a pleasant afternoon for your first half of the weekend. And then we are going to see a chance for a few isolated showers Sunday as some storms stay off to our north.
The Utah Jazz wrapped up their 5-game road trip tonight in Dallas, hoping to win 4 out of 5 on this trip with a win against the Mavericks, a team they could face in the first round of the NBA playoffs. This game had some playoff atmosphere to it. Luka Doncic throws it high to Dwight Powell, and he throws it down. Doncic could do it all. Drives by 3 Jazz defenders and scores and won. 35 points, 16 rebounds, and 7 assists for Doncic. The Jazz playing catch-up most of the game. Jordan Clarkson, nice finger roll in the second quarter. He had 19 points. Here's some nice passing. Bojan Bogdanovic, after his big game on Sunday, knocks down the 3. He led the Jazz with 21 points. Then the blunder works it around to Donovan Mitchell. His 3 is good to cut the lead to 7. He scored 17, but the Mavericks extended that lead in the third quarter. Doncic, 3 is money. That put the Mavericks up by 20. The Jazz did cut into that lead in the fourth. Rudy Gobert, the alley-oop. He had 12 points, 13 rebounds, but too much. Luka shoots it over Gobert again for another 3, and he was all smiles. Dallas won at 111-103. The Jazz now just a half game ahead of the Mavericks for 4th in the West. 15th ranked BYU women's basketball team played Portland in the WCC semifinals. Paisley Harding, 3 of her 14 points. BYU trailing by 4 in the fourth, but rallied. Tegan Graham, big 3 to cut the Pilots lead to 1. Here's the 2-time WCC Player of the Year, BYU sophomore Shaylee Gonzalez. Great shot there She had 2 points. Then the big shot from Maria Alviero. 3 put the Cougs up 6. BYU won it 59-52 to advance to the championship game. It's week 2 of spring practices for the BYU football team. Cougars have a lot of talent back from last year's 10-win team, and a full coaching staff is back as well. So the Cougars are in a great place this spring, led by returning starting quarterback Jaron Hall.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, another year in the program, more experience comes more comfort. With more comfort just comes more joy, more happiness when you're playing the game. A lot more relaxing, and you just kind of go out there and be free and play ball. So spring ball has been really fun for me. The first 3 practices, it was a good time to go out and make plays with my guys. And I've had a lot of guys returning, a lot of guys in the same boat as me. We're a lot more comfortable, who love the game more and are obviously a little better this year as well. So we're just excited to have a couple more weeks with each other, play out the rest of March, continue to play some ball, and just get better in preparation for this year.
Rudy Gobert and Luka Doncic didn't seem to enjoy each other's company very much tonight.
We saw
that. Could be a fun playoff series.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, it got tense.
A little push, a little shovey. That's all right.
I mean, we're talking about basketball, and then you go to football, Jeff. Got a lot going on in the sports world, always.
Take it easy, everybody. Yep.
Thanks, Jeff.
We'll be right back.
Some lucky Utah artists will be given the chance to show off their work, all thanks to Craft Lake City and Project Rainbow. The 2 organizations are teaming up to create Project Rainbow scholarships. They will be awarded to 5 Utah artists who promote LGBTQ+ visibility. The scholarships will pay for their booth fees to participate in the 14th annual DIY Fest. It's happening this August at the Utah State Fair Park in Salt Lake City. If you or someone you know wants to apply for a scholarship, we do have a link for you on our website, fox13now.com.
Some beautiful artwork right there. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for Fox 13 News at 9.
Stick around. Quickcast is next.